Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Sam from the Midweek Fixture, and today we're going to be talking about all of the new professional teams in the US Soccer Pyramid that will be starting play in 2022. So if you like all these videos that I'm making in the off season, you find them very informative, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for me for more content that you'll see coming out soon. Alright, so first up in the MLS we have one new team in Charlotte FC. This is the only new team in MLS starting in 2022, and it will begin play at the Bank of America Stadium in downtown Charlotte that also hosts the NFL team, the Carolina Panthers. Overall, I think the branding's been okay, nothing really special, although so far they are making some interesting moves in the transfer market. As a new MLS team, it seems like they're spending a lot of money on trying to get some international spots for a lot of different interesting moves that I think we'll be seeing here in the next few weeks. I'm interested to see how the team do this season. I don't personally think that they are going to light the league on fire like some teams have in the past, but I think sooner than rather than later, they do need to build a soccer-specific stadium in Charlotte. Alright, next up for the USL Championship now, we have a couple different clubs that are joining the USL Championship this year. First one being Monterey Bay FC, which is a brand new team, and they are nicknamed the Union or Union because they said that the club is supposed to be the union between the two main cultural groups of the area. Personally, I used to live in Monterey, and I don't really buy that excuse for a brand made nickname. It just doesn't make sense to me, but we'll see if it catches on. Monterey Bay will play in the USL Championship, like I said, at a brand new stadium that they're building in Seaside. The branding, other than the Union thing, I think it looks really nice, and I really like the crest. It looks very clean, it has good colors to it, so I'm excited to see what comes out of this team this year or in a couple years in the future, and I really think that they could capture a good audience there in that Monterey Bay area. Alright, so the next team that we have joining the USL Championship is Detroit City. They're not a new team, they're actually a team going from NISA into the USL Championship, which I think is a mutually beneficial, great move for both the league and Detroit City. Detroit City is one of the most well-known and well-regarded lower division teams in the US with an amazing fan group in the Northern Guard, and I really think they're going to light the league on fire this year and maybe turn some heads. Alright, next we have the teams joining the USL League One. We do have 3 teams joining USL League One this year, 2 new and 1 coming down from the USL Championship. So the first one that we're going to go over joining from the USL Championship going down a division is Charlotte Independence. With Charlotte FC moving into the city in MLS, there's going to be much more limited market share for them to capture, as well as they have over the last couple years had an absolutely terrible ownership group and really needed this move down to try and almost save the club and secure their finances. So I think this move down could be beneficial for the team if at the end of the day it's really just sad to see a club be so mismanaged that they have to self-relegate themselves to the lower division just to stay afloat. Next up we have the Northern Colorado HAILSTORM FC, which will be playing in Windsor, Colorado at the Future Legends Sports Complex. So the HAILSTORM will start playing this year, and they're going to have a long road trip before they start playing at home just due to their complex being built. The club has some very intriguing branding that is a very American style way of branding with adding that name HAILSTORM, but I personally enjoy it, and I think the crest is absolutely amazing, and they seem to be getting a good core together for their team so far, with a good coaching core, with Amon Zayed being named the head coach, and they're bringing in a couple of experienced players from the USL League One who've played here before, as well as from the Airtricity League in Ireland. So I'm excited to see how they do this year, and I actually will attend a game or two, being that I'll be living out in Colorado next year. And then last but not least for USL League One, we have the Central Valley Fuego FC. Central Valley Fuego will start playing the USL League One at the Chukchansi Park in Fresno. Central Valley Fuego is a new ownership group and a full rebrand of the defunct Fresno FC that played in the USL Championship that are now turning into the Monterey Bay FC that we just talked about. I'm a bit reluctant to think that Fresno will do well, especially since they didn't do too well in the past with the Fresno FC Foxes, but a new ownership group and a full rebrand could be really what the city needs to keep this soccer club in place. So next we have one new team in the brand new MLS Next Pro Division 3 league. It is going to be the only independent team in this league, and the other teams will be all MLS 2 reserve teams. So this new team is Rochester, New York FC, which is maybe not the best rebrand ever in American soccer. Honestly, the crest looks pretty nice, but the naming and the branding is just, it's bad, in my opinion. It's boring. It's basic. What other Rochester do we think the club is going to be from? I don't think there's any other bigger Rochesters in the United States. It is backed by Jamie Vardy, and I guess they were trying to do a full rebrand. The club used to be the historic Rochester Rhinos, which were the last non-MLS club to ever win the US Open Cup back in, I think, 99 or 2000. So they literally just threw away that reputable brand. I don't know why, because I think a guy like Jamie Vardy would at least have a bit more respect for the history of a reputable and historic club like that, especially with his journey through the lower divisions of England to become the player that he is. But at the end of the day, this is a club that they have now in Rochester, and I'm sure that it'll be supported, but definitely not as well as supported as the Rochester Rhinos, because I know that a lot of fans are mad that they got rid of that branding. So I'm interested to see how they do in basically what is a reserve league, and we'll see how it goes, I guess, next year. And then lastly, we have NISA, which is the other third division in the United States, and they will be adding 4 teams this year. So the first one is AC Syracuse Pulse. They made waves for sure with their announcement, but not in a good way, because people were mocking their badge and saying how terrible it was, and personally, I agree. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. It looks like something you'd come up with for like your son or your nephew's U6 Saturday morning rec team. The website isn't much better. It's barely navigable, and it looks like something that somebody made in the 90s. I don't think this is going to be a successful team, and honestly, I don't think NISA is going to be too successful as a league in the next few years, but we'll see what happens. The club will play their home games at Laser Stadium in Syracuse. So the next team that we have joining NISA is also from New York, and they're the Flower City Union. They'll be joining NISA from Rochester, so they'll have to compete with Rochester, New York FC, which honestly I don't think they'll have a problem with, because they also made some waves with their announcement, but in the complete opposite way that Syracuse did, because their branding is actually really good. The crest looks really nice and clean, made by a professional. The name connects to the city of Rochester really well because it's the Flower City, and they've been really good from what I've seen about doing community outreach, things like that, just getting out into the community, and I really admire that. I honestly don't see Flower City staying in NISA for too long if they are successful and bring in a decent amount of fans. I feel like they would be a perfect club for a USL League One. They will start play at the Marina Auto Stadium in downtown Rochester, which will be great exposure for them. Next up, we have Valley United FC joining NISA out of Phoenix. The branding of this club to me looks really bland. It's not entirely bad like Syracuse, but it looks more like a middle school travel team type branding rather than a professional team. And I know that they started out as a youth team, so maybe that's why, and they're going to do some rebranding here in the next couple years. I honestly couldn't even find the field that this team is going to play at, and their website was really convoluted and hard to get around, so we'll see how this goes. It seems like on Twitter they do have a decent following, so maybe I'm misjudging them a lot. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't feel like really good branding. It doesn't feel right. And then last but not least, we have Bay Cities FC of the San Francisco Bay Area in California, and they will begin play at the Sequoia High School Stadium in Redwood City, which happens to be right between San Francisco and San Jose around the Bay Area. The marketing actually looks really nice. The website looks modern and works really well. I'm really interested to see how this team does. Last time NISA had a team in the San Francisco Bay Area, it was the Oakland Roots, who played a year in NISA, then jumped ship over to the USL Championship. And before that, in the Bay Area, was the San Francisco Deltas in the last season of the NASL. They played a year, they won the championship in that year, and then they folded before the league league even folded, and their folding was one of the catalysts for the league to fold. I'm cautiously optimistic for this team, and I hope they do really well. They look to be fully professional and really trying to take the league by storm. Alright everybody, if you really enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to see more content coming out in the future. The US soccer professional landscape is really changing year over year, and it's only accelerating, so I'm excited to see how this year goes and see what happens next year, especially in the coming years as we lead up to hosting the 2026 World Cup. Things are really going to ramp up with new professional teams, new structures, new leagues, things like that. We'll see how everything goes. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the next video.